Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some basketball. Right, so today basically what I wanted to talk about was the Donovan Mitchell situation, how he has gone to Cleveland. I know I'm wearing the Cleveland Cavaliers top as well, vintage one, quite a nice one. I bought in the middle of Ireland for some reason. I don't know, it's quite nice, hardwood classic one, I like it. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. Is it a good deal? Is it an overpayment? What is good about this situation? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at the trade, looked at the players they traded and the picks and thought that isn't that bad, and it's not that bad for a team who, like, realistically, right, by the time those picks will matter, Evan Mobley will still be playing, Darius Garland will still be playing for them as well, Jarrett Allen will still be playing for them as well. Does it matter? Because the picks they've gave up, they weren't going to be that useful to them anyway, because they're focusing on the young core right now, and that's what's important. Donovan Mitchell adds that. A lot of people are saying that in his free agency he's going to move to New York. Possible, but is it worth taking the risk to win something? Yes. To be honest, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who haven't been relevant without LeBron James, it's very relevant to take up a superstar when you already had two All-Stars and a future, probably he could even be a superstar, Evan Mobley, to be fair. But like, it's a good trade for both ends, in my opinion. I think the Jazz are preparing for a number of years while tanking, which is interesting, but obviously they're just going to be a dead team for a long period of time at this point. I really think it's interesting how the Jazz are going to play this, and they just need to have good picks, essentially. If they pick well, they'll be fine, and they'll be a really good team in about 10 years, just like OKC will be, or the Magic were. When you make good picks, you'll be fine. It's just if you struggle to make good picks, you'll be down there for a long, long time. And that's what the issue is with that kind of strategy and getting better within the NBA, in my opinion. It makes teams stay down there and doesn't really help them, in my opinion. But it's what they got to do, so they're going to do that. The Cleveland Cavaliers are genuinely almost title contenders at this point. In my opinion, I put them in the same bracket now. I put them just below Philly and the Nets because I don't know. I just think Philly and the Nets have like more established players that are clutch players in those situations. Kevin Durant, clutch player. Kyrie, clutch player. Joel Embiid, clutch player. James Harden used to be a clutch player. And they've also got good young players as well. Tyrese Maxey. Like, they do have good players. Claxton, good young player. So, like, it's all well and good having this young core, but they need to take the stages and take the jumps that you'd expect them to. For example, you'd want Evan Mobley to get better at a decent jump this season, and you'd want him to perform at a better level than he did last season, obviously, because that's where you expect the biggest jump is in the second season, usually. But at the end of the day, like, he's going to be fine. Like, this team is going to be fine. They're going to be good for the next however many years. They've got a young team, and they are kind of locked into that young team. So it's fine for now. I don't think the picks, like, and the capital that they're giving up in this situation is that bad. They weren't really... Well, obviously, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think the bench and the depth of this team is going to be a problem for them. I think their starting five could compete with nearly every starting five in the league. Their bench is just not that great. Like, it's just not great. You've got players that have been injured for a long time that you need to come back. Even Kevin Love's still there. It's hard to say whether this team is going to perform at the level needed off the bench. For example, you've got the Warriors, who last season, the reason why they were so good is because you'd take Steph off and you'd put Jordan Poole on. Or you'd take, like, one of your players off. You'd put Otto Porter Jr., you'd put Gary Payton II on. You could even put, like, Kuminga on in those situations nowadays. Like, the depth on the bench is so important because if your bench is not good enough, you're not going to be able to survive without those players. You'll run them into the ground and they'll get injured. You won't perform at the higher levels. Now, that's why it's so important. You've seen it with the Celtics, having Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, Grant Williams coming off the bench, Derek White coming off the bench, and all making performances. You need players like that on the bench. Now, obviously, this is a major issue in the East. The East is not as competitive as the West, in my opinion. I do think that the Cavs can be a top 4-5 seed. I don't see them being a top 3 seed. I'm going to be honest. They could be in 2 years if, like all the young guys make the progression to being a good player, like to being their full potential is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, right now they are not at the level of a Philly, in my opinion. They are not of the level of the Celtics, the Bucks, even the Miami Heat with the experience they have, although they might try and slow it down in the regular season because of players getting older like Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry. It could be a situation there. It's hard to say. I do think the most scary team is Philadelphia, the Bucks, and the Celtics. I do think they will be the top 3 seed. I'm hoping the Celtics, just because of their insane consistency over the past half season that they just went through, will be able to perform at that level. I think Philadelphia, adding defenders like PJ Tucker is going to really improve them a lot. PJ Tucker is so underrated, one of the best defenders in the league. Adding him is an important part of that team, especially when the defense around James Harden and stuff isn't great. That Philadelphia team is scary. Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, with Chris Middleton back, can beat anyone in the league and easily win a championship, in my humble opinion. It's not up for debate, really. They can do it. We've seen them do it before with a full fit team. They're good. Obviously, they're going to be up there as well if they can stay consistent and injury free. I think they're going to be a top 3 seed. Miami are going to be up there. Obviously, their team's getting a lot older, but at the same time, you've got Jimmy Butler, you've got Kyle Lowry. But yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on the Donovan Mitchell trade. It's an interesting one, and I think it's a win for both teams, to be honest. I don't know. It's hard to say because you don't know how these young players are going to progress at the end of the day. But it does kind of mean that the Cavs are going to be here for a long period of time and challenge at least for a playoff spot for a long period of time. And if they could put the team together where they are improving as a team every single year and getting better as people think they could, then they could easily challenge for an NBA title. And that would be massive for the Cavs. And I think they can do it. It is possible. And for the Jazz, it's a good trade because they get a lot of draft capital. They got everything they want. I think they've got 13 picks now, something ridiculous. It's kind of mad. But at the end of the day, that is the trade, and that is the Cavaliers being solidified as a playoff team, and the Jazz now just being a tanking team. But that is the end of the video, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I really appreciate you